I've never believed in American anything. I've never looked upon America as a very friendly place, ever.
Russell Means has spent his life fighting for Native American rights on and off screen. He agreed to appear in this film, The Last of the Mohicans, to try to change Hollywood's portrayal of his race.
The only reason I'm doing movies is trying to change its racism, you know? It's the most racist, anti-Indian institution in the world except for the U.S. government.
Home movies of the Oglala Lakota tribe, also known as the Oglala Sioux. Taken by the superintendent of the reservation in South Dakota, these images reflect the traditional American view of so-called Red Indians. The reality, as Russell Means, who grew up here, remembers, was very different.
You don't understand where Indians were in this country, man. Shipped us off to the cities, the young, with families. Just the people left on the res to live, grovel, eat diseased food, and live in car bodies. And treated like pieces of shit by the white man in all the border towns. They want us annihilated.
Mass graves of the last massacre of the Indian Wars at Wounded Knee in 1890. 300 Lakota, mostly unarmed men, women, and children, were killed by the 7th Cavalry.
It was consecrated with our blood, the blood of our children, our women, who were slaughtered just because they are who they are. And 20 medals of honor were given to those bastards.
83 years on from the massacre, a meeting is held to decide whether to occupy the village of Wounded Knee by force, as a desperate protest against the treatment of the local tribe.
The Oglala Nation is at a crossroads that can change the course of history for Indian people all across the nation.
They looked at us, they conferred with one another, and then they said, go to Wounded Knee. There you will be protected. So we knew immediately what they meant. We'd have the protection of our ancestors who are buried in that mass grave. And so that's where we went.
On February the 27th, 1973, Russell Means and around 300 Lakota seized the village of Wounded Knee at gunpoint.
First thing they did was secure the trading post because it had weapons and ammunition. The second place we secured was the church.
The Native Americans, led by the radical American Indian movement AIM, set up roadblocks and prepared to defend themselves.
We are going to continue to make every effort to solve this situation without bloodshed. Whether this is possible depends entirely upon the Indian leaders at Wounded Knee. We have come as far as we can. We cannot go any further.
The authorities bring in armored personnel carriers, helicopters, and phantom jets. Soon 250 law enforcers surround the village, armed with mortars, machine guns, and M16 rifles.
It was in the morning, early in the morning, and we had built bunkers below the church on the hill because we figured that would be our last defense, would be the church. It's on the hill.
Aim take hostage the white traders on the reservation.
If the leaders at Wounded Knee are bent on violence, that is their concern. But I call upon them now to send the women and the children, both resident and non-resident, out of Wounded Knee before darkness falls tomorrow.
Turn that light out.
2 senators arrived to negotiate their release.
They said they wanted to talk to the hostages. Okay, go ahead. We got nothing to hide. And sure enough, we didn't, man. They refused to leave. Our hostages refused to leave. That's Indian power, man. That's Indian power.
But not anywhere else.
If you wanted to leave the Wounded Knee area, could you go?
Asked Trimbar. We had the people with them and said that they can leave.
Those 2 senators looked at it. They didn't want to leave. We'll give you an armed escort out of here. You're all right. You'll be safe. No, we don't want to leave. It's your fault. We're here. Your fault. These Indians are here. If you'd have took care of business, blah, blah, blah. Man, they start condemning the senators. It was beautiful. It was fantastic, man.
The days are relatively peaceful. The nights explode with exchanges of gunfire. The authorities pound Wounded Knee with over 500,000 rounds of ammunition. Inevitably, there are casualties.
Apparently has a wounded party. We are willing to sacrifice our lives for our children so they will not have to grow up in the society we grew up in today.
You know, we lost 2 dead and 14 wounded.
The authorities present an ultimatum, which is promptly burnt. In preparation for a last stand, traditional war paint is applied.
Well, that was put on only those who were willing to die. So the only ones that went through that line were all the soldiers, the defenders, inside Wounded Knee, and they were going to remain there until they died. That was the significance of that.
Day 13 of the siege sees a dramatic development.
The leadership of the Oglala Nation here at Wounded Knee, they have declared Wounded Knee an independent country. Any spy from the United States of America is found within our borders, he will be dealt with as any spy at a time of war, to be shot before a firing squad.
After 71 days, the local chiefs bring the siege to an end. Agreements made with the authorities soon fall apart.
Of course, they lied, just like they did to our ancestors. The white man, all he has is his lips. He has no spirit. He talks and feels with his lips. So, they lied to us. 20 minutes after we signed the agreement, they started violating every damn one of them. So, that went for naught.
In a final leaving ceremony, tribute is paid to those killed in the 1890 massacre. Although the siege has collapsed, Wounded Knee is seen as a turning point in Native American history.
The big payoff was self-dignity and self-respect. You can't measure that.
Wounded Knee brought to an end a period of activism that challenged traditional notions about the meaning of America. For many, The American dream is just that, a dream. And chasing an illusion can have devastating consequences.
You have to kill people. You have to lie and cheat, steal. And you can realize the American dream.
What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. Or does it explode?